been imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show under the world of outlaws.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Dre Broadcasting Network to go fender to fender with the Roaring Thunder. We are live at Myrtle Beach Speedway for the Medlock's Family Betty Hughes Memorial 200 and round 13 of the Roaring Thunder Racing League K&N Series. I'm your commentator, Sean Zulu. I am joined by my producer and Dave heavily behind the cameras. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great, Sean. Ready for some short track racing here at Myrtle Beach.
Absolutely, at its finest here, these drivers doing 18 to 20 second lap times tops for 200 laps tonight. And what are we working with tonight, weather-wise?
Looking at tonight's weather, looks like it is going to be a good night for racing here at Myrtle Beach in Virginia. Track temperature of 78 degrees, air temperature 78, partly cloudy with the wind out of the north at about 2 miles an hour.
And with that, they do have a 50% fuel limit, that is 50%. So you should expect to see at least 3 pit stops that these drivers take tonight. Once again, 200 laps. Well, I should say 2 pit stops required in order for the drivers to be able to make it the full length of the race. And thank you for tuning in here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The Medlock's Family Betty Hughes Memorial 200. Betty Hughes is Josh Medlock's mother-in-law, and Josh Medlock being one of the drivers, just Joshua Medlock, who races here with the Roaring Thunder Racing League, and he is right in the chat. Thank you for tuning in there, Joshua. And for all those who would like to donate, the link is right in the description. It's right here, gofundme.com/funeral expenses Betty Hughes. That is all one word and not a single space in that. That is gofundme.com/funeral expenses Betty Hughes. So check that out. And thank you for tuning in. And alongside, we have Melissa Potter in the chat as well. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see, Timothy Petita. Good to see you there, Tim. And so far, that's it, but we have a couple more viewers in the chat tuning in. So thank you for tuning in. This is Dre Broadcasting Network, and we recently just crossed the 400 mark on subscribers. So we would like to thank every single one of you, because without you guys, we are nothing. Well, going over the current point standings, we have Jeremy Horn, who is current points leader. Robert Barras, second. We have Charles Smith and Jim Whaley, both tied for third place in points. We have Mark Kochik, Ivan Black, Joshua Medlock, Jeff Dotson, Noah Lewis, Paul Cohen, and Aaron Cummings. And that does round up the top 10 in the point standings. And so far here we are under qualifying, and so far on the pole is the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr.
Yeah, I'm excited to be brought on here with the Roaring Thunder Racing League and Dre Broadcasting teaming up. We are going to have this race. We'll be off next Saturday, but then we will be back with the Roaring Thunder Racing League once again. So, guys, got to check these guys out. Great group of guys. I have a feeling we're going to have an exciting race here tonight, Sean.
Exciting race indeed, Dave. We have so many amazing drivers out there. But so far in the field, we only have 13 drivers at the moment. But some familiar faces here, like the 18 of Rick Mason there. One of the other leagues we broadcast. I also personally know, I've been racing with him a long time, but 51 of Paul Cohen, who is racing here tonight. And also fellow broadcaster Art Peck. I don't know him personally, but I have heard him on some of his broadcasts out there. But absolutely, Dave, it's going to be amazing and very interesting to see exactly what these drivers tonight have in store for us in terms of competition. We also have a new viewer in the chat at 24, of Connor Cunningham. Good to see you there, buddy. And looks like qualifying is now over, and we will advance here into the race session. So we'll give the drivers a few seconds before we go down the list. And looking in the chat there, Timothy Petito already picking the number 12. What did you say, 12? Yeah, the 12 of Caleb Thompson as his pick. His pick for the win tonight. So you two, ladies and gentlemen, get involved. Let us know who you're rooting for tonight, because it is a full field, or I should say a field full of amazing drivers. So it could be anybody's race tonight. Looking in the chat there, Timothy Petito getting his 4th big win at Watkins Glen. Congratulations, Timothy. Well, once again on the pole tonight, the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr. Right behind him or beside him, the 21 of Charles Smith starting second. The 12 of Caleb Thompson, the pick. Timothy Petito's pick starting third. Joshua Jones, 4th. Noah Lewis, 5th. Robert Barras, 6th. 51 of Paul Buzz Cohen at 7th. The 00 of Aaron Cummings, 8th. Jeremy Horn, 9th. We have Jeff Dotson, 10th. Art Peck, Mark Gomez, Gotchik, and Rick Mason will round up the rest of the field, giving us 13 drivers here starting tonight's race right here at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, I can't wait to get this going green here. So it looks like they're going to do 2 pace laps due to it being a short track. So we're about to get ready to get this thing rolling.
Yep, I personally have not had much experience on short tracks, especially this one. It's my first time actually here at Myrtle Beach. Judging from what was going on in practice, the outside to inside line will be the better, will be preferred race group all race long, and it will be push while you can, because in the long run, those tires will end up going away due to so much rotation and so much tire scrub, which equals, so much friction out there. And that will wear the tires out even more. The pace car dips off this time by Jim Whaley, still holding pace speed with the 12 of Thompson on his rear end. Exiting turn number 4 this time by the green flag. Jim waited on Charles Smith side by side. The 12, Caleb Thompson. 76 of Joshua Jones do back it down, but right there the 21 of Charles Smith did drift way high, lost some time, and Jim Whaley did clear him successfully, and they go back to single foul. The caution flies here on lap 1. Might have been a wheel spin. It was the 0 of Aaron Cummings who was involved in that one. So we'll back up on Aaron Cummings and see what happened.
Yeah, taking a look at my instant replay here, focusing the 00 Aaron Cummings as he is riding on that outside lane there, coming through the turn. Oh, it just kicks loose down into the inside wall. He is going to be the only car involved.
Oh man, that could have been worse, but great job by Cummings minimizing the damage done to the field the most he can, but unfortunately he will be getting towed down to pit road. And thankfully, not to worry, ladies and gentlemen, they do have one backup car. That is one backup car, so he will be out there with the brand new machine, not a single scratch on it, because he did end up blowing his old one. The engine did blow up, and that is pretty much useless. And we have some drivers on pit road this time by Paul Cohen, Jeremy Horn, and Mark Gomez-Gotchik. All down pit road this time by with only one lap on their tires.
Well, little pitch strategy, I think, is what is in effect. They are just waiting to see if we're going to go for a long green flag run. They'll be able to stay out a little later than the guys that didn't pit. So they are just hoping those tires are going to play effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And David, a short track like this, if you take 4 tires, even if it's under caution, you most likely will be getting lapped by the leaders. Also, when it happens under green flag conditions, it's even worse, because you will be 2 to 3 laps down in no time.
Yeah, but there's always a chance. We've seen people come back from 2 or 3 laps down and get back onto the lead laps, so it's definitely a possibility here. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Roaring Thunder Racing League, the Betty Hughes Memorial 200 live here at Myrtle Beach Speedway.
And for all those new viewers just now tuning in, first of all, welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network, and this race dedicated to the Betty family. So please, any donation is appreciated. The link is in the description. Now the donations will go to the funeral costs and everything to help the situation. The pace car does dip off. Jim Whaley still holding pace speed exiting turn 4 this time, but the green flag will fly in no time.
Yeah, going over the rules here. These guys got to wait for the green flag to go, and the green flag is out. We are back racing here at Myrtle Beach as Whaley is pulling out pretty good. It looks like right now the inside's the place to be, but I have a feeling once they get strung out single file, I think they're going to move up the track just a little bit as we see the 21 of Charles Smith. He is staying on that outside. We've got a battle right behind him between the 76 of Josh Jones and the 75 of Robert Burris as they are battling out door to door here coming through the turns.
That 26 of Jones still occupies the inside. Nope, he clears him. Well, the 75 of Barris did clear him there. Entering turn number 3 and exiting turn 4, he does pull away, and his next victim is the 21 of Charles Smith. And all I notice about Charles, Dave, is that he's pushing way too hard. It looks like that machine is having some trouble gripping, or maybe he's just driving it in way too hard, but he is losing spots left and right.
Yes, we see the 75 of Robert Burris. He is now down on his inside, trying to take away that number 3 position. He is going to take it away. But I tell you what, I think what the 21 of Charles Smith is doing, he's riding that higher lane. I think he's trying to save some tires for a later run here in this run.
Yeah, could definitely be the exact same, exactly what he's trying to do, and that is very smart. Trying to set himself up for the long run, which that said he will lose time now, but gain time later. And that is a very, very good strategy indeed. And right behind him here, the 76 of Joshua Jones, bringing the 98 of Noah Lewis with him for 6th place.
Yeah, Chris Potter out there, or Melissa Potter also. Chris there is the brother of Noah Lewis. He is out here watching his brother as we are going to take a look here. Looking good in that 98 Mountain Dew machine.
Yeah, great paint scheme indeed. And so far he is catching up to the 76 of Joshua Jones. At the same time, trying to keep the 14. Oh, well, actually, position change right there. 78 of Art Peck did lose a spot to the 14 of Jeremy Horn for 7th place. 98 goes in the wall. Big wreck entering turn number 3. And the 98 of Lewis will blow his motor on impact. Let's back it up on Noah Lewis and see what happened.
Well, as we saw that live, but we are going to rewind it here, take a look from another view. We're going to take a look here from the chopper view, focusing on the 98 of Noah Lewis as he was riding behind the 76 machine. He is coming out of the turn. Oh, it just breaks loose, and unfortunately the 14, nowhere to go, smashes right into him of Jeremy Horn, I'm sorry, and that is going to cause Noah Lewis to blow his engine, so he is going to have to tow down on the pit road.
And very, very unfortunate indeed for every single driver involved, like you said, especially the 98 of Noah Lewis, who got the worst end of that deal. And status check on the 00 of Aaron Cummings. Aaron Cummings was involved in the first incident that brought the caution and blew his motor as well and had to get towed down a pit road. But he is back on the track, being shown 5 laps down. So once again, a short track means the more time you spend on pit road, the more laps you're going to lose, and so far it gets 1 lap back down to 4 laps down.
Yeah, and unfortunately Noah Lewis and Jeremy Horn are also going to go laps down here as they're down on pit road towing to get that damage repaired.
Yep, and so far top 3 drivers, Jim Whaley Jr., Caleb Thompson, and Jeff Dodson. These 3 drivers have stayed out every single lap, having 15 laps on their tires, but everybody else behind them has pitted in. So these drivers right now most likely, notice that in practice the tire wear was not as bad as we might have thought it was. At the same time, they don't have too many green flag laps on these tires, so that just might not affect them negatively like we might think, but at the same time it just might. So fingers crossed, we will find out here before too long. We are now back to the green. Next lap is the 1 to green mark.
Yeah, that's one thing though, is here, these cautions, they go quick. This is only a half-mile track here in Myrtle Beach, so it ain't gonna take long here to get around during caution. But as you said, our top 3 drivers staying out of Jim Whaley, Caleb Thompson, and Jeff Dodson. Meanwhile, from 4th place back, all on fresh tires.
And so far behind Whaley, the 12 of Thompson is saving gas, is clutching that sucker in, trying to maximize the fuel economy of the machine so he can be able to push it as much as possible, or add a couple of more laps on it before going down pit road. We are now back 1 to green. This lineup, 46, Jim Whaley still leading us, led every single lap this far. Behind him is a 3 of Jeff Dodson. On the outside, the 12 of Caleb Thompson with the help of 75 of Robert Barris. Going green, this time by pace car is off.
As the pace car dips off, we are going to watch Jim Whaley as he's going to bring these guys back again to the green flag here as they are coming out of turn number 4. Waiting on the green flag. And hot diggity dog, we are back green flag racing as the 46 of Jim Whaley gets a good jump. But I tell you what, Caleb Thompson got a good run there as well. But Whaley on the preferred line on that inside as they're getting back down into single file.
Yep, and so far 75, Robert Barris already making some heavy moves. He has newer tires, 10 lap newer tires compared to the leaders up front, and he just might be working with him. And against those leaders, the 12 on the outside, Caleb Thompson just might be vulnerable. He will be losing a spot here before too long, or might be, but so far still trying his hardest, still fighting. But nope, he loses the spot to the 75 of Robert Barris, whose next victim is the leader, the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr.
Well, I don't know, man. Jim Whaley Jr. is turning some great laps. However, Robert Burris has the fastest lap tonight with an 18.443, which is actually right about a tenth faster than Jim Whaley Jr.'s fastest lap.
Yep, and speaking of Jim Whaley Jr., Jim Whaley under pressure from the 75 of Robert Barris. And I said Barris has 10 laps left on his tires compared to 46. He makes it on the outside line. Very impossible, nearly impossible to do. Oh, he drifts way wide. Oh, he smacks the wall. And he will go from front to back in a hurry. 76 gets around him. 75 Oh, I should say 76 of Joshua Jones, Caleb Thompson, Jim Whaley Jr. in the 14 at the same time. Turn focus on this battle. That's Jeremy Horn in the 14 machine.
Yeah,
on the outside.
Jeremy Horn's making some good moves there. He's 3 laps down, but he is moving through the field here, trying the hard way to get some laps back. Meanwhile, Rick Mason, the 18, is the first car a lap down, so he is sitting in the lucky dog spot as we speak.
Yep, a new driver right here. I should say back in the top 5, the 21 of Charles Smith, the inside of the 14 of Jeremy. And Jeremy Horn will stay high, still trying to fight him. He will try and make him earn it. But 21 of Charles does go in hard. Oh, the caught up on 76 and 75. Oh, 21 as well. Charles spins out on the exit of the turn. Is in the grass. The caution is not going to fly because that is off the racing surface. No harm done to anybody else, unfortunately. I mean, not to anybody else but the 21 of Charles Smith. And he is back on the track.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of positions there, sitting back in 7th position now. Meanwhile, Jim Whaley Jr. still leading. Caleb Thompson's sitting right there in 2nd, trying to chase him down. The 75 of Rock Burris. We've seen him get into the wall. He is sitting in 3rd. Joshua Jones moving up into 4th. And Mark Koshik sitting right there in 5th position.
And so for the 18 of Rick Mason has damage in the front end. I'm not sure where he got the damage from. I don't remember him getting involved in anything out there. I remember only the need of Noah Lewis and Aaron Cummins getting a piece of the action. But not so much 18 Rick Mason. The front end has seen better days. But Dave, it's a good thing. It's a short track because those aerodynamics are out the window, if anything. So it's just going to affect the rotation of the machine.
Yeah, most definitely here. Looking like our front 2 guys, though, 28 laps on their tires. 3rd place, Robert Burris, the first one on fresher tires. He's sitting right about 15, so there's about a 14-lap difference.
700, Aaron Cummings gets into the wall. The 18 of Mason does get around him, and Cummings is trying his best to get his laps back. And that's the thing about a short track. Short tracks in general, it is very, very difficult to get your laps back once you go multiple laps down. But so far, Aaron very determined to get the job done. Because still 171 laps left here before the race is over. But going back up front, 12 of Caleb Thompson catching the 46 of Jim Whaley. It seems as though Caleb is faster on the exit of turn 2, while Whaley is faster on the exit of turn number 4. So basically the gap in between these 2 drivers, Thompson and Whaley, just keeps getting nothing but consistent every single lap.
Yeah, most definitely so. Tell you what, these guys are starting on a good green flag run here. So we're on lap 32 of 100. We have 169 laps remaining, but these guys still running about mid 18-second lap time.
And Dave, one driver on pit road, 00 Aaron Cummings pitting in this time by the right side is up. Not sure. Oh, never mind. Looks like he has retired for the night. That machine was damaged heavily. So it looks like it was affecting him, and only having one backup car, he ended up using it due to blowing his motor under the first caution. So he has parked it for the night, but look forward to seeing him for the next race at Dover International on September 16th.
Yeah, taking a look, one of our top movers right now is going to be Mark Gomez Koshik. He has qualified in 12th position, now running in the 5th position. So he has made some leeway here in the first 30 laps.
Yep, he has a long way. He has come a very long way and a short way to get there now. And so far, his next victim, the 76 of Joshua Jones. Joshua sees him coming and is trying his best to find 5th here at this short track, Myrtle Beach. But just might not have as much luck as he might want to. The more he pushes it, the easier it is for him to make a mistake, and the more he burns up those tires. And with that, it's going to make it even easier for 33 of Mark Gomez Kochik to catch up to him. And so far, Joshua Jones and Kochik taking different race lines. We see 76 of Joshua Jones going all the way high to the low lane, while Mark is going from middle lane to bottom lane. So basically, Joshua Jones is actually saving more tires compared to Kochik.
Yeah, I think tire wear is going to be a key factor here. Taking a look at the chat, look who's out in the chat there, Sean. We got Joe White from OSR Network out there cheering on. saying to get her done, so we are going to get her done, as he's saying.
Absolutely, and Joe, good to see you, buddy. It's been a while. It's been like 2 days or something, but it's been a while still. It's long enough. 21, Dave Charles Smith status check. He has ended up dropping back. Maybe it's that tire we talked about is starting to kick in, because at this point he is actually in 7th place as we speak, and he's trying his best to stay on the lead lap because those leaders are actually 4 seconds behind him. So if he continues at this pace, he will most likely be going a lap down in no time.
Yeah, as we actually take a look here, the 75 Robert Burris is now catching Jim Whaley Jr. only 3/10 behind him, so I think we got a battle brewing here for the lead there, Sean.
Yep, that's going to make things extra interesting. And 75 of Robert Burris is setting him up here on the exit, at least trying to. But looks like once again, off turn number 4, Whaley does seem to be a little bit faster, while Robert Burris is faster on the exit of turn number 2. So that gap once again is still staying consistent. But yep, Burris has finally caught up to his back bumper. It's only a matter of time before Whaley starts driving in his rear view, or maybe he's already doing that as we speak.
Yeah, most definitely. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, we are 40 laps into tonight's race, 159 laps to go. So far, Jim Whaley Jr. leading all 43 laps so far. Robert Burris now, Robert Burris looking to the outside of Jim Whaley Jr. Is he going to complete the pass on the outside? They are door to door coming out of the turn of turn 4. Jim Whaley Jr. is on the preferred line right now, but Burris, he is making that outside line work for him.
Yep, last time he tried that, he did end up getting too friendly with the wall, but he's still trying it again. He just might make the pass successfully. He's very determined to get the job done, and that is exactly what he needs. That is all he needs, and nothing else. And he will be successful, but nope, the 46 of Whaley does end up clearing him. The 75 of Burris was going to try and do the crossover move, but it's not close enough to make it work.
Yeah, just not able to get that nose in underneath of him like he needs coming into the turn to claim that inside position, as Jim Whaley Jr. is doing a great job at holding him off and saying, if you're going to go around me, you're going to have to take the outside lane to do it.
And the two leaders are catching up to a slower machine, the 51 of Paul Cohen. That machine, Dave Von Cohen, has seen better days. It is beat up left side, right side, rear end, a little bit of front end too. So he is trying to stay on the lead lap, but so far being caught at a very fast rate by the leaders.
Yeah, most definitely here is looking like Caleb Thompson sitting right there in third. He is about 9/10 back from the leaders. Joshua Jones, he is sitting back and forth. Got a pretty good gap there. Mark Gomez Koshik sitting right there in 5th. Sitting back in 6th is going to be the 3 of Jeff Dodson, just kind of riding. Charles Smith is going to be back in 7th position. And I tell you what, we are under caution.
Yeah, Dave, this was a 3-car pile-up. 51 of Paul Cohen involved, the 12 Caleb B. Thompson involved as well, and so was the 14 of Jeremy Horn. Looks like it started the 51 of Paul Cohen and the 12. Let's focus on the 51 of Paul Cohen and see what happened.
Yeah, it looked like just coming out of the turn, some contact made. There is the 12 was riding that inside, the 51 outside. The 51 goes around, the 12 goes around, and unfortunately the 14 machine didn't see it. Big contact there hitting, and looks like he's blown his engine as well.
Oh man, yeah, Thompson right now smoking the pits heavily. It's quite the barbecue as we speak, but he finally makes it into his pit stall. But not to worry, once again, ladies and gentlemen, they do have one backup car, so he gets that out. The right side is up, and left side will be up here before too long. 4 tires, full tank of gas, and off pit road, 12 of Caleb Thompson will go. And status check on the 51 of Paul Cohen. Paul Cohen is in his pit stall right now. He's actually rolling out as we speak, off pit road.
Yeah, it looks like Joshua Jones is going to lead a lap here, so he's going to get credit for leading a lap. Jeff Dodson and the 18 and all these guys making it back down onto pit road here, so this is going to recycle through, but good job by Joshua Jones to get in that lead in that lap, but it looks like the lead is going to focus right back onto the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr.
Well, once again, for all those new viewers out there, thank you for tuning into the Dre Broadcasting Network as we bring you the Medlock's Family Betty Hughes Memorial 200. That is the Betty Hughes Memorial 200. And Betty Hughes is mother-in-law to one of the drivers here with the Roaring Thunder Racing League Series. That's going to be Josh Medlock. His mother-in-law did pass away not too long ago, and they are trying to raise some money to help with the funeral expenses or funeral costs. And the link is right there in the description, right here under the this video. And the link is gofundme.com. That is gofundme.com/funeral expenses Betty Hughes. gofundme.com/funeral expenses Betty Hughes. No spaces. That is all one word. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, every donation is appreciated.
Yeah, it looks like everybody came down pit road during this caution, so we got all new fresh tires here. I think we are 1 to green, so they are going to get lined up and get ready to go back green flag racing here on lap 54 of 200.
Yeah, with this lineup, Mark Gomez Kochik right behind the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr. On the outside, 75 of Robert Barras being pushed by the 76 of Joshua Jones. The pace car is off, going green this time by. Mark right now catching up to the 46 of Whaley, trying to get a very good start, hopefully gain a spot here entering turn number 2, or turn number 1, or exiting turn 2. The green flag flies. They put on the floor, the 75, Robert side by side with the 76 or 46 of Jim Whaley Jr. They go side by side. Oh, they almost make contact. No harm done on the exit of turn number 2. The 75 of Whaley gets a good slingshot. The 46 of Whaley actually drives it in way hard, entering turn 3.
Yeah, I tell you what, I want to thank the Goodyear blimp for coming out and giving us a good shot here from the blimp here on this little track. As we see the 76 sitting right there in third position, Mark Gomez Kochik sitting in fourth, Charles Smith back up into the top 5 again.
And Jim Whaley Jr. made a mistake on the exit of turn number 2. He did go sideways, got on the gas a little bit too early, and that did snap it around, but he was able to do some dirt tracking, and was able to get under control, but lost the spot to the 75 of Robert Barras, and now being chased by the 76 of Joshua Jones. But they do go back, single foul. No, Joshua backs it down to avoid getting to the back of 46 of Jim Whaley Jr. No harm done, but so far Robert Barras having a Sunday drive. The more they battle.
Well, I tell you what, Sean, we had talked earlier to Jeff Dodson, the league owner here at the Roaring Thunder Racing League. They are going to finish up the K&N series, and they are looking that next season they're going to be doing an IndyCar league, some roads, some ovals. So that should be definitely exciting here, exciting next season here for the Saturday night series.
Oh, absolutely. And for all those viewers out there who would like to be a part of this action, check out the Roaring Thunder Racing League on iRacing. If you guys would like to be a part of this action, it's an amazing action, and you guys would not be disappointed. Just one request, though, just be sure to bring your A game, because these drivers are fast drivers, and you know, it's gonna be easier there. Try not to get lapped. And for the back in the pack, 21 of Charles Smith behind 76 of Joshua Jones for third place, trying to catch up to him. And once again, in the beginning, it seems as though Charles Smith is having some trouble with that machine pushing. He just might be pushing it way too hard, driving it in way too hard into the turns, and costing him a lot of time, or maybe just taking the wrong entrance, or just trying to save some tires like we talked about early on. But either way, he's still being able to maintain the fourth place spot against 33 of Mark Gotcha.
Some great short track racing out here tonight. Taking a look here at the league owner, Jeff Dodson, running back in 6th position. Just kind of running single file here, just not really trying to push the issue too much here. We do only have 6 cars on the lead lap. Right now, the 12 of Caleb Thompson. The first car lap down, he is sitting right there in the lucky dog position.
Yep, and racing here for the lucky dog will be the 51 of Paul Cohen and the 78 of Art Peck. These two drivers will try to get around the, will try to be the first driver locked down, so they can be able to get the lucky dog if the caution comes down. And speaking of Art Peck right now behind the 51 of Paul Cohen, and Paul Cohen sees him and gets even more aggressive, trying to get around the 3 of Jeff Dotson, so he can put him in between himself and the 78 of Art Peck, because that would work in the favor of Cohen and against the 78 of Art Peck. That is exactly what the 51 of Cohen needs. And right behind them, status check of 98 of Noah Lewis. Noah Lewis being shown 11th place, 3 laps down, as well, trying to get his laps back the hard way, trying to get around the 18 of Rick Mason. Rick Mason being shown 2 laps down, 10th place. And right behind the 98 of Noah Lewis is the 14 of Jeremy Horn.
Yeah, going back up front, though, it looks like Robert Burris has been able to get around Jim Whaley Jr. He is going to be our new race leader, as he has now led 13 laps here tonight. Jim Whaley Jr. kind of dropping back a little bit. Joshua Jones sitting there in 3rd. He is about 3 seconds off the pace of the leader. Charles Smith just about 4.5 seconds off behind him, sitting back in 4th.
Yep, and Charles Smith is now catching up some traffic, and so far 14 is his next victim, actually 14, Jeremy Horn. And no harm against the 21 of Charles Smith, because Jeremy is 4 laps down, and trying to get his laps back the hard way, and he will stop at nothing until he accomplishes just that. The 12 of Caleb Thompson here right behind the 76 of Joshua Jones, and Joshua's next victim is the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr., spread by about, let's see, that's going to be 2.7 seconds. And speaking of Jim Whaley Jr. right now, trying to catch the 75, Robert Barras has been for the longest time possible, and is gaining time every single lap, Dave. Yep, and so far, the 75 Robert Barras has put his foot down the floorboard. You can see that machine wiggling every now and then, due to him trying to get more aggressive and trying to increase the gap in between him and the 46 of Jim Whaley, who was catching up to him not too long ago. But looks like his aggression is paying off, because that gap is increasing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are now just 129 laps left into this race. We are going to go ahead and step away for our first commercial break of the night, so we can give everyone a chance to get a refill in their drinks, and we'll be right back here with the Roaring Thunder Racing League Betty Hughes Memorial 200. We'll be right back.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Medlock's Family Betty Hughes Memorial Race. That is Betty Hughes Memorial Race. And Betty Hughes was Josh Medlock's mother-in-law. Josh Medlock, one of the drivers right here in the Roaring Thunder Racing League K&N Series. She passed away not too long ago. And in the description is a link to a GoFundMe page where it's been set up just so for anybody who would like to help with the funeral expenses or the costs of the funeral. Once again, it's the GoFundMe.com/funeral expenses Betty Hughes. GoFundMe.com/funeral expenses Betty Hughes. No spaces, all one word. And thank you for tuning in. You're right here on the Dre Broadcasting Network. Going back to tonight's race right now, still being led by the 75 of Robert Barris. Right behind him is the 46 of Jim Willie Jr. still behind him in second place. 76 of Joshua Jones third. Charles Smith still holding fourth place. And 33 of Mark Gomez Kochik in the fifth place spot so far, rounding up the top five.
Yeah, these guys are on a pretty good green flag run, 39 laps since their last pit. So they are not sure what their fuel mileage will be, how many laps they can do. Is we are now on lap 90, just 111 laps remaining.
Yep, and starting tonight's race, I calculated about 2 to 3 pit stops. But I could be wrong. Maybe just one more pit stop, they should be able to make it. Because once again, these machines have big tanks, but the track is a short track, half a mile long. So with that said, that is less gas being used up and more time racing out there for these drivers. And so far, the 3 of Jeff Johnson being shown 6th, the 12 of Caleb Thompson still 7th, Paul Cohen 8th, Art Peck 9th, Noah Lewis 10th, Rick Mason 11th, and the 14 of Jeremy Horn rounding up the field in 12th place, as unfortunately we have lost the 0 of Aaron Cummings early on due to heavy damage on his machine. And Dave, last time we checked on the 21 of Charles Smith, I talked about how he was losing a lot of time, but now actually he has gained a lot of time and has caught up to 76 of Joshua Jones, who has been his biggest opponent for the past 20 laps.
Yeah, I think maybe him saving those tires and kind of dropping back might be playing off for him, as they are over 40 laps since their last pit stop. So I think it might just be the tire wear difference there, but he's going to have a hard time getting around the 76 of Joshua Jones.
Absolutely right. The easy job was catching up to Joshua Jones, and now the hard part right here is getting around Joshua Jones, knowing that Jones is not going to pull over and let him by, and it will make him work for it. And that is going to be very interesting. Tries to drive it into the inside. Yep, Joshua gives him the inside, but then goes back down to the inside because he had a very good entrance to the turn. But on the exit of the turn, the 21 of Charles Smith still trying to do the moves against 76 of Joshua Jones, but still no luck. He's just not close enough to make a difference in his position. and the gap seems to be increasing a little bit, but in the turns it is starting to catch up to 21 to the 76 of Jones. And last time we checked, both Joshua Jones and Charles Smith, before the commercial break, they were being shown 5 seconds behind the leaders, Jim Whaley and Robert Barris. But now that has increased to about 9 seconds. So they have lost some time, most likely due to all the battling they were doing, because they were battling a lot. They've been battling for the past 20 laps. So that definitely has worked negatively, or I should say worked against them. So they'll most likely try and change that up and run out the inside of the 18 of Rick Mason. Mason does stay high to let them by. And Rick Mason still rocking that damage on that machine, but the machine is still going nice and strong. The VCU paint scheme. Yeah, that machine definitely has seen better days once again, but he is still determined to get the job done. Also looking back at last week's race at the Bull Ring, they did have Jim Whaley did bring it home. We had Caleb Thompson come out in second place, Jeremy Horn third, Joshua Jones fourth, Mark Kochik came out fifth, Charles Smith sixth, Joshua Medlock seventh, Joe Sutellas eighth, Art Peck ninth, Jeff Dotson 10th, Noah Lewis 11th, Aaron Cummings 12th, and Kevin Cornelius did round up the rest of the field in the 13th place spot. And that last week's race gave Jim Whaley Jr. his first win of the season. And speaking of wins, actually, this season so far, once again, leading in points is the 14 of Jeremy Horn. He is racing tonight as well. He's a couple of laps down here tonight, but he is the leader in points and already has 1 win under his belt. Robert Barris has 4 wins under his belt and having the most wins in the season this far. Jim Whaley Jr. already has 1 win under his belt. Evan Black has 2 wins. Aaron Cummings 1 win, and Art Peck as well has 1 win, including Caleb Johnson, and Jordan Pauly. So many wins so far with these drivers, and a lot more wins to come. So fingers crossed, these guys trying to do exactly just that. Jim Whaley trying to have his second win right here at Myrtle Beach.
Yes, we're on a really good green flag run here now. 55 laps since their last pit stop. Still being led by Robert Burris, as he is now taking over the most laps led. He is sitting at 52. Jim Whaley Jr. sitting at 50. So, and also Joshua Jones leading 2 laps.
And now, Dave, the 2 leaders are catching up some lap traffic. They are in traffic. And with that said, these lap times will bounce up and down, and that might work against the 2 leaders. It might work against Robert Barris and work for Jim Whaley, or it might work against Jim Whaley and work with Robert Barris. But either way, it might be a win-win for either one of them. But fingers crossed, either way, it is gambling. And right now, the leader here, Robert Barris, is catching up to his 2 next victims in line. That's going to be the 98 of Noah Lewis and the 3 of Jeff Dodson. And Jeff Dodson, once again, being the last driver on the lead lap, trying his best to stay right here on the lead lap.
Yeah, you see the 98 of Noah Lewis there. He is trying to get around Jeff Dodson. He wants to get moving. He does not want to go another lap down there, as he is currently 3 laps down. Right now, Caleb Thompson is the first car lap down, so he is sitting in the lucky dog spot. But Jeff Dodson now is in jeopardy, as we see the 18 of Rick Mason up into the outside wall, as the leaders now caught him. So I think this is going to slow down the leader there, as the 98 and the 3 are still battling.
Yep, and this will make a lot of drivers happy behind the leaders, namely Charles Smith, Joshua Jones, Mark Gomez-Gotchik, Jeff Dodson, Caleb Thompson. These guys will be able to catch up to these leaders once, because due to the battling that's going on with the lap machines. Well, a lap machine and the last driver on the lead lap 3 of Jeff Dodson and the 98 of Noah Lewis. And Noah gets around the 3 of Jeff Dodson, but 75 of Robert Barris will follow the line of the 98. Noah goes way wide, 3 wide, almost 3 wide on the exit of turn 2, but back double wide is 75 of Robert Barris, the inside of the 98 of Noah Lewis.
Yeah, and look who's caught up right up on his back bumper, the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr. He is right there. He is going to look to the inside. He is now on the inside of the 75 of Robert Burris, as we've now got a battle for the race lead going on.
Just like we talked about, Dave, it was going to work either for one of the drivers and against the other, or vice versa. And that's exactly what he did. It worked with Jim Whaley, but against 75 of Robert Burris. Robert to the outside, and Robert has been occupying the outside, has been doing an amazing job on the outside all night long tonight. It makes the pass successfully against, I should say, maintains his lead against the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr. And Jim will try and back it up and set him up all over again.
Well, we are beyond the halfway point, only 88 laps to go. Well, these guys are turning right about 3 laps a minute, so these laps are going to tick down in a hurry, and I think Jim Whaley knows that. He wants to get in front of the 75 of Robert Burris, but Robert Burris is doing a good job of holding his line. He is saying, if you're going to go around me, you're going to have to earn it. It looks like Jim Whaley Jr. now looking back to the inside. They are side by side coming on the exit of the turn. But I tell you what, that 75 of Robert Burris, he gets a good push coming off these turns.
Yep, definitely does. He definitely does not navigate the outside line, absolutely. And that is bad news for Jim Whaley Jr. And, you know, Robert Burris has had the most wins this season so far, having 4 wins under his belt, trying to make this one his 5th with the 46 of Whaley to the inside on the exit of turn number 4, entering turn 1 side by side. Whaley does drive it in way wide, way too hard. Well, hard enough to still maintain the lead, surprisingly. It looked like Burris did back it down, trying to do the crossover move, but Jim Whaley was very careful and made sure that didn't happen.
We do have a car down on pit road. I think that is going to be the 33 of Mark Gomez Cushing. He is making his way down on a pit road here with 60-some laps on his tires for the first green flag pit stop.
Yeah, this will most likely will influence everybody else to do the exact same thing. And once that leader pits in, everybody will try and follow the leader's lead. Oh, looks like Mark Gomez makes some mistakes on pit road and is getting held longer. It looks like he wasn't in his pit box right, so his pit could not service him. But going back up front, or going back up to the up front on the field, so far we only have 4 drivers on the lead lap, with 21 of Charles Smith being the first driver, or I should say the last driver on the lead lap.
Yeah, well, let's see. Take a look. 81 laps to go. These guys are sitting right about 70 laps since their last pit stop. I think these guys are going to try to push it so they can make it on just one more pit stop.
Yeah, that is very likely, and you know, with the way the race is going so far, actually, yeah, once these guys pit in, if the leaders stay out 8 more laps, they will be able to make it on just that one pit stop. So it's going to make it very interesting, because the drivers who put it in first, that you talked about, the 33 of Mark Gomez Kochik, he, if the caution does not come out, will not be able to make it all the way, and he's going to have to go down pit road once again, because he will be about 10 to 12 laps short if the caution doesn't come out. Yep, it's all about that pit strategy. Very, very important. Races can be won or lost on pit road, and these guys do know that and try and take advantage of that the best they can, trying to run on those tires, trying to run on those tanks until they cannot run anymore. And so far, 21 of Charles Smith right now trying to hunt down the 76 of Joshua Jones, and Joshua does seem to be increasing the gap in between them quite a bit every single lap. The 51 of Paul smacks the wall. That machine definitely is having problems rotating, and that is bad news for Paul Cohen, because it's all about rotation when it comes to a short track like this. And 75 up front, Robert Burris down pit road this time by Jim Whaley, still staying out.
Yeah, they have put about 74, 75 laps on their tires. If he maxed his fuel out, that means he's going to have to pit one more time. Well, actually, no, because we got 75 laps to go.
Oh yeah, very, very good catch indeed. If anything, he's going to be 1 lap short. Oh, 46 of Jim Whaley going down pit road this time by. Yep, Jim will be able to make it. I should say should be able to make it the remainder of the way. To one of Charles Smith staying out. Joshua Jones going down pit road. So the new leader will be 21 of Charles Smith here before too long.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, this race is going a lot quicker than I thought. 74 laps to go here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. These guys are putting on a good show here. We are on a long green flag run here, seeing our first green flag pit stops of the night.
Absolutely, and Dave, looking at it right now, Charles Smith up front. He is going on to now 79 laps on his tanks, which means, also on his tank, which means that the leaders there up front early on, previous leaders for the of Jim Whaley and Robert Barras, these guys pitted in. They had some room for error out there, which means they did not run their tanks dry. So with that said, yes, they will be able to make it the full length of the race, or say the length, the remainder of the race here, 72 laps. And with 3 laps per minute, that's gonna give us, let's see, 30 laps every 10 minutes. So this is it's a short track. Once again, lap times are very, very quick, from 18 seconds all the way up to 20 seconds, just depending on the tire wear. And so far, these guys putting down some rubber out there, and a lot of new race grooves have been formed.
Yeah, that's one thing I really do enjoy about here at iRacing.com, the motorsports simulator here, is you can actually see from the start of the race to the end of the race, you start seeing those lines get darker as the rubber's laid down on the track. Definitely interesting. Another new thing coming here soon to iRacing, day to night transitions. You can start your race in the day, but then it's going to transition into night as the time goes on during the race. I'm pretty excited about that. Definitely, if you have not gotten out into iRacing, you definitely must check it out at iRacing.com.
Absolutely, you will not be disappointed. And also, if you'd like to be a part of this action right here, check out the Roaring Thunder Racing League on iRacing to be a part of this action. They do run short tracks, and they'll be having an upcoming IndyCar series starting next season, so you guys can join. Once again, that's Roaring Thunder Racing League on iRacing, and the website for the Roaring Thunder is americantrucker8.wixsite.com. So check them out there for all information needed.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost to the conclusion of the race here with 66 laps to go. We are going to take our final commercial break of the night so that we can bring you the remainder of tonight's race. Once again, you are watching Dre Broadcasting Network, the Roaring Thunder Racing League, Betty Hughes Memorial 200 here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Madlocks Family Betty Hughes Memorial 200. It is Betty Hughes Memorial 200. And for all those new viewers out there just now tuning on to the Dre Broadcasting Network, first of all, welcome to Dre Broadcasting Network. And Betty Hughes was the mother-in-law to Josh Medlock. And unfortunately, she passed away here a couple of days back. And this race is dedicated to her and her family. So we can be able to help raise money for the funeral expenses. With that said, the link to the GoFundMe page is in the description. That is GoFundMe.com. Trying to get it right here. GoFundMe.com/funeral expenses Betty Hughes. GoFundMe.com/funeral expenses Betty Hughes. That is one word, not a single space in that. And this is round 13 of the Roaring Thunder Racing League K&N series. If you guys would like to be a part of this action right here, check them out. Roaring Thunder Racing League on iRacing, and their website is AmericanTrucker8.wixsite.com. Wixsite spelled WIXSITE.com. AmericanTrucker8.wixsite.com. Well, going back to the race here, we are being led, still previous race leader, the 75 of Robert Barris, Jim Whaley Jr. second, Charles Smith third, Joshua Jones fourth, Caleb Thompson fifth, and so far that rounds up the top five.
Yeah, Caleb Thompson's the first car lap down, so if a yellow has come out, that put him back on the lead lap. However, ladies and gentlemen, we can make it the rest of the way on fuel. So 51 laps to go. These guys will be able to make it hopefully the rest of the way. So this will be interesting to see, especially with Robert Burris and Jim Whaley Jr., who have been battling it out for that race lead all night long.
Yeah, absolutely, and also two rivals here tonight, so far 76 as well. Joshua Jones, including Charles Smith. These guys were battling heavily a couple of laps back before the pit stops separated them, because they did pit in a couple of laps. I mean, they had different pit stops or pit strategies. With that said, looks like Charles Smith was able to have a better pit stop compared to Joshua Jones, and because of that, they are separated about 7 seconds. Yeah, that's about 6 seconds actually apart from each other. So far, Joshua Jones is trying his best to catch 21 of Charles Smith to try and get the third spot back away from Charles Smith, but going back up front as well. These two drivers, Jim Whaley and Robert Barris, were actually less than a second apart from each other before green flag pit stops kicked in. And before after the green flag pit stops, they are about 2.7 seconds apart. So just like Dave talks about, the green flag pit stops do separate the men from the boys.
Well, the 75 of Robert Burris is actually starting to come up on some slower traffic, some lap traffic. Jim Whaley's hoping they slow him down enough so he can kind of close in that gap, as he's 2.6 seconds behind him. So he is hoping that slower traffic, that lap traffic, is going to slow down Burris, give him a chance to catch up. Meanwhile, Charles Smith and Josh Jones separated by, looks like, 5 seconds. So actually the closest battle we got on the track right now is actually between lap car traffic, the 33 of Mark Gomez-Cushing and Jeff Dodson. They're about 7/10 apart, battling 2 laps down, battling for that 6th and 7th position.
And Dave, trouble on the track, 98. Noah Lewis spins out of the exit of turn number 4, but back on the track as we speak. But the green flag stays out. Very unfortunate indeed for the 98 of Noah Lewis. Still being shown 5 laps down. Or now being shown 5 laps down because he lost a lap when he spun out.
Yeah, we're going to pull up the Dre Broadcasting instant replay here. We're going to focus on the 98 of Noah Lewis. See if we can see exactly what happened. Looks like, just coming out of turn number 4, that back end kicks around. He is going to slide down on the inside into that grass. Just tap the inside wall, nothing too major. As he is going to hold it down there, let all the traffic go by, and then get back out on the track, keeping his green flag racing once again here at Myrtle Beach.
Absolutely, very, very unfortunate incident for the 98 of Noah Lewis, but nice save on his part and keeping this thing green and that machine clean. So no harm done to anybody else out there. So once again, great job to him, and he is still back on the track as we speak, trying to get his laps back the hard way. His next victim is the 14 of Jeremy Horn. Well, Jeremy is being shown in 9th place, 4 laps down. and he too is trying to get his laps back at the same time. And Jeremy Horn, being the season standings leader so far, trying to maintain it, trying to have good finishes, so he can be able to maintain that, because he has hungry lions behind him. Robert Barris, Charles Smith, Jim Whaley, Mark Kochik, Evan Black, Joshua Medlock. These guys are ready to take it away from him at any time. Anytime he gets caught sleeping, they will pounce on him and will not lose any sleep over it. But Dave going back up front so far. Jim Whaley has gained 0.7 of a second in 2 laps, again 75 of Robert Barris. So that lead is decreasing, and that lap traffic definitely working against Robert and with Jim Whaley.
Yeah, most definitely. Here's we are now taking a look here at Robert Burris. The gap now down to just over 2 seconds, barely. So Jim Whaley Jr. actually, he's closed it up, gained another 10th there. So it's down under 2 seconds now. So it looks like Jim Whaley Jr. there was just kind of playing, holding back. He is saving it here because we are now 38 laps to go. That means just over 10 to 15 minutes left in this race if we stay green flag racing. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I can't say it enough. Only 3 cautions on a half-mile track. We've seen races that have had a lot more cautions on the longer tracks, wider tracks. So these guys are doing a dang good job here tonight. It's only 3 cautions so far tonight.
Yeah, great job on everybody else on every single driver out there. And Dave, how many lead changes have we had tonight? About 3, I believe.
Well, actually, a little bit more there. As I'm taking a look at our race report, 3 cautions tonight for 12 laps and 6 lead changes. Right now, fastest lap of the night with an 18.301. That is actually going to be set by our current race leader, the 75 of Robert Burris.
Oh, absolutely. I was a little off there. I had it on halfway. I said 3 lead changes. And yeah, Robert has led some laps. Jim Whaley too. And I believe, let's see, 29 of Charles Smith as well did lead some laps because he stayed out there during the green flag pit stops transition. So for the back in the pack, the 12 of Caleb Thompson has been on a roll, has been on the move. He's trying to catch the leader. He's trying to get his lap back the hard way. But so far, doesn't seem to be having as much lack as he might want to. Actually, he is being shown not too far from his next victim. Oh, actually, maybe he is actually quite a ways back. That's going to be Jim Whaley Jr., who will be trying to get around, then catch the leader 75 of Robert Barris. Speaking of Jimmy Whaley, he is now behind 1.4 seconds behind Robert. Last time we checked, he was 2 seconds. So once again, he has gained some time. I don't know why I keep calling him Jimmy, but it is Jim Whaley. I do apologize.
Yeah, he's making a late run here, so I think coming down here is we are on lap 169 of 200, 31 laps to go. He's got 30 laps to catch. Now the question is, he may be able to catch him, but the big question is, will he be able to get around Robert Burris?
Ooh, yep, absolutely. One thing is easier than the other, like we had seen with Joshua Jones and Charles Smith. Talking about these 2 drives, actually, Joshua Jones and Charles Smith. Joshua, last time we checked, was 7 seconds behind Charles Smith, and has now decreased it to 3 seconds. So he does have him in his sight and is determined to get around him here before too long. And 21 of Charles Smith better find 5th gear before too long if he hopes to maintain the 3rd place spot. At the same time, catching up to him is one thing, but getting around him is another. So fingers crossed either way. And for the back in the pack, 51 of Paul Cohen here right behind the 3 of Jeff Dotson. Jeff Dotson now down to 2 laps down. Looks like Jeff might have had a bad pit stop there during the green flag pit stops, which did end up costing him a lap. And 51 of Paul Cohen still going as strong despite the damage he has on the machine. And behind Paul is the 76 of Joshua Jones. At this point right now, Joshua Jones has caught some traffic, and this traffic just might work against him, but with the 21 of Charles Smith, his next victim.
Yeah, he's got to get around this slot traffic if he's got any chance of battling the 21 of Charles Smith for that position. Charles Smith, though, no lap traffic. Actually, he's starting to catch another lap traffic. I think that's the 33 of Mark Gomez Koshik, as he is running in 6th position, 2 laps down. But Doesn't look like he's really gaining on him too much here, as we are now just 25 laps to go.
Yep, and so far Joshua Jones getting around the 3 of Jeff Dodson. Jeff Dodson stays high, lets him by. His next victim will be, looks like that's going to be the 78 of Art Peck. Let's talk a match of Art Peck here tonight, but he is still alive in 11th place, trying to catch up to the 98 of Noah Lewis. They are race for position number 10, because they are both being shown 6 laps down. So Art Peck trying to get into the top 10, because Noah Lewis is holding the door, holding the keys to the top 10.
Also, just realized there the 18 of Rick Mason has taken his car behind the wall to the hauler, calling it in for the night. So only 11 cars left out on the track.
Yeah, very unfortunate indeed for both the 18 of Rick Mason and the 00 of Aaron Cummings. We'll look forward to seeing these drivers back again after next week, because once again next week the Roaring Thunder Racing League is off, but they will be back September 16th for Dover, for the Dover 125 at Dover International Speedway.
Yes, and you will be able to check that out here on Dre Broadcasting Network. We will be bringing you that race, so definitely got to tune in. It's going to be a fun race there at Dover. The Monster Mile. Miles the Monster is going to try to collect some more K&N cars.
Oh yeah, I look forward to seeing exactly how Turn 4 treats the drivers there on the exit of Turn 4 at Dover International, because it has known, it's known to claim a couple of drivers due to a sudden bump that seems to be kind of invisible due to how focused you are on either the competition or try not to get claimed by the wall. The 98 of Noah Lewis scrapes the wall, it sucks him in, but he is able to get spun out. No harm done. But still behind the 14 of Jeremy Horn in 9th place. Still keeping the 78 of Art Peck behind him. Oh, Art Peck just went one more lap down to 7 laps down from 6 laps down. So Noah Lewis is in luck. But Noah is as well vulnerable to going another lap down here before too long if the leaders catch him.
Well, I tell you what, I am looking at Robert Burris and Jim Whaley Jr. They are now under a second apart. Jim Whaley Jr. is now catching 75 of Burris as the 75 of Burris goes around the 3 of Jeff Dodson, now putting him in between the 2 leaders here as they battle. So I wonder if that's going to slow down Jim Whaley Jr., or is he going to be able to get around Jeff Dodson and then reel in Robert Burris?
Ooh, yeah, very, very interesting scenario indeed. Absolutely. Yep, Jim Whaley so far. Oh man, this gap has decreased very much, and we are now 16 laps to go. 16 laps left in tonight's race. It has been go time for the longest time. The gloves are off at this point. Gonna bring the steering wheel home or bring the checkered flag home, and nothing else is acceptable to these drivers. So they are trying to find 5th gear. Now is the time, and the 46 of Whaley was able to get around the 3 of Jeff Dodson, and now his next victim is the leader, the 75 of Robert Barris. And Robert Barris now catching up to the back of the pack. Some more lap traffic. That's going to be the 76 of Joshua Jones. Joshua Jones, the last drive on the lead lap. Going to be going 1 lap down if the leaders get around him. So hopefully he's going to be able to stay ahead of these leaders. And we now have, let's see, he's got 14 laps to stay ahead of the leaders. I'm not sure if that's enough time to, get that done. I mean, it is possible. But it seems like there's too many laps. And by looks of it, Joshua Jones has burned up his stuff chasing the 21 of Charles Smith. And so far, Joshua Jones is being shown 17 seconds behind the leaders, which means the leaders are only 1 second behind him. So it's only a matter of time. And Joshua Jones to the inside of the 33 of Mark Gomez. Kochik stays high, lets him by, no harm done, not for position either. And Mark is being shown 2 laps down in 6th and trying his best to stay either stay 2 laps down or get his laps back, but not looking to lose any more laps, even though the leaders are just right behind him. Oh man, 1 more lap to the 10 to go mark. Once again, fingers crossed, going up front. 46 Jim Whaley, 8/10 behind 75 of Robert Barris. Oh, that just went down to 7/10 of a second, so he just gained a 10th that last lap. So he is still pushing it hard. You can see how hard he's pushing it as he is trying to catch Barris.
Tell you what, we're going to ride on the cockpit here of Jim Whaley Jr. as we are going to watch him see how he's going around the track here trying to chase down that 75 of Robert Burst.
Oh yeah, Barris trying to go for his 5th win, and Jim Whaley going for his 2nd win. Let's see exactly how this plays out, and looking for them from the cockpit on how these guys get the job done.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you are looking here is what the drivers is looking at in front of them. This is what's on their screen. This is the view they are seeing. We are riding here on the cockpit of Jim Whaley Jr. as he is trying to slowly wheel in Robert Burst. But the question is, only 7 laps to go. Can he do it and get around the 75 of Robert Burst?
It looks like his mission is working here slowly but surely. He is catching up to him, gaining almost a tenth of a second every single lap. He's now down to 4/10 of a second, and 3 laps ago he was behind 7/10 back. 5 laps gonna be left here before too long. Exiting turn 4 this time by for the 5 to go mark. So a little beside his action there on the 75 of Robert Barris. He is trying his best to drive in. Oh, he drives in hard, almost makes contact. But the 46 of Whaley does back it down. Barris does propel and maintains his lead for now.
Yeah, we are going to focus here on the leaders. This is the biggest battle of the night. The closest battle of the race is Jim Whaley Jr. has caught the 75 of Robert Burris. He has only got 4 laps to get around him. So we are going to keep focused on these leaders for these 4 laps to see if the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr. can get around him and come away with the win.
Oh man, and Jim Whaley has been flirting with the back bumper of the 75 of Robert Barris in the last 2 laps in the turns. Looks like Barris is going to be able to maintain that gap so far. 3 laps left, 2 to go mark. Coming up this time by the make contact. 75 goes sideways, he hangs onto it. Jim Whaley backs off to give him room to save it, and he saved it successfully. Nice save by Robert, and nice save by Jim Whaley. Nicely done. We stay green, 2 laps to go, this time by.
Yeah, looks like the 75 Robert Burst has got a little dirt tracking in him as that car was going sideways through the turn, but he saves it. Jim Whaley Jr. just backing off, making sure not to push the issue. But look at it. We are now 1 to go. The white flag is out.
White flag out, exiting turn 2 this time by the gap. 46 of Jim Whaley is not close enough. Oh, he drives in hard. But 75 of Robert Burst gets a better exit off turn 4, brings it home unchallenged. This time by lap 2:01. 200 laps complete. 46 Jim Whaley 2nd. Charles Smith coming out 3rd. Actually Charles Smith is still racing. Gonna wait until close to start finish line to call that. Exiting turn 4 this time by, yes, Charles Smith brings it in home in 3rd place podium. He's 76 of Joshua Jones coming up to turn number 4. Actually, Joshua Jones is 4th place, yep, and Caleb B. Thompson in the 5th place spot. So far, running up the top 5. What a race, Dave. What a race.
What a race as we see the 75 Robert Burst doing his burnouts here, celebrating his victory here at Myrtle Beach Speedway.
And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be interviewing the top 3 drivers. Robert Barris for his 5th win, Jim Whaley and Charles Smith 1, 2, 3 respectively. So stay tuned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are being joined up in the Dre Broadcasting booth by tonight's race winner, 5th win for him, Robert Barris, Jim Whaley 2nd, and Charles Smith in the 3rd place spot running on the podiums tonight. We're going to start with tonight's race winner here, the 75 of Robert Barris. You get a cup there, buddy?
I got you.
How you doing tonight?
I'm wore out. Exhausted. It was short tracks are a lot of work. Just tracks very bumpy. I ran about 50 laps of practice earlier in the afternoon, otherwise I hadn't been here before. I didn't realize how bumpy this place was going to be.
Oh, most definitely, and man, we can imagine exactly how you're feeling. I think we can only imagine. So much was going on out there, and your biggest mission tonight was getting in the beginning, and for the first half of the race, your biggest mission was getting around the leader, who at the time was 46 of Jim Whaley. And once you accomplished that, your next mission was to try and lead as many laps as you could, or maintain the lead, and you did that. You did that pretty well. I think it's about the battle between you and the 46 of Jim Whaley, because it seemed to be your biggest opponent tonight, your biggest threat.
Yeah, I think I was probably a little bit better on the short run. That was probably due to just me burning the tires up a little bit harder than he was. I think he's kind of the short track ace here, is what I've heard. He definitely was had the speed on the long run. Those last 30 or so laps, I saw him coming. It seemed like I could get through traffic a little bit better. I don't know. I think it was probably just timing of where I was catching them versus where he was, and it just kind of played out. And then I think we had a couple laps to go, and I'm sure he was getting back to the gas a lot sooner than I could, and he bumped me a little bit and gave me the opportunity to get it together back up. And I think that was probably it right there. So. Definitely good effort. I think if we'd gone a couple more laps, Jim definitely got that one. More if we get some cautions come out, he's got it.
Oh, most definitely. What a heck of a race on your part tonight, Robert. Having your 5th win of the season right here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. And also, early on in the race, Robert, we noticed you trying to make the outside line work, and you were able to successfully make a pass on the outside line, which is not impossible, but it's nearly impossible. Tell us about that, your experience on the outside line, because you seem to be the only driver who could make it work that well.
Yeah, I have a hydraulic brake pedal here, and a couple button boxes, so I can pretty quickly dial in and out brake biases I need to, depending on where the line's going to be. And so I don't know what everybody else is running, but I traditionally have been able to run these short tracks, really get the car to turn with the brakes. For if that's positive or negative over the short or long run, whatever the case may be, but it does let me make some passes otherwise. And so really that's all that's going on, is just I think my ability to carry the brakes in and tune it even from lap to lap what lane I need to be in. I definitely can't drive in with the same brake pressure and brake bias from the low to the high line. It just won't work. If you try to go into that low line with everything set up for the high lane, you're going to spin, and if you try to do it the opposite way, you're just going to go to the wall. So I think again it just comes back to that.
Oh, copy that. Absolutely, so much experience taken into that, and very nicely and excellently executed here tonight on your part at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Well, buddy, it's been a pleasure seeing you run tonight. It was an amazing drive on your part. Executed some excellent green flag pit stops, some excellent battles, leading the most laps tonight. 126 laps. Is 126 laps led by Robert Barris. Very, very impressive. Well, but any final words before I let you go?
Oh, I just thank everybody that puts on the Warren Thunder Racing League, and then everybody that comes out and races. It's what makes it enjoyable. So just shout out to those guys.
Well, buddy, congratulations on your success here in tonight's race at Myrtle Beach Speedway for your 5th win of the season. I look forward to seeing you again after next week for the next race, Run 14 at Dover International Speedway. Have a good night, buddy, and go celebrate.
Thank you.
And that was tonight's race winner, the 75 of Robert Barris, starting 2nd place in points tonight. But right next to him is his biggest opponent, his biggest threat tonight, this 46 of Jim Whaley, having his 7th top 5 of the season and 11th top 10. Get up there, Jim.
Gotcha.
How are you doing tonight?
Not too shabby.
Oh, well, Jim, tonight it was a heck of a performance on your part, and I can only imagine how you're feeling right now. Very worn out. You spent a lot of time running down the leader up there, Robert Barris, and once you got to him, the next challenge was getting around him. You had one opportunity there to get around him, but unfortunately you had to back it down to give him some room there, had to save it, which did cost you all the time, and all that effort you put in was thrown out of the way, and you had to you had to regroup and do it all over again. But unfortunately, it didn't seem as though you had enough laps to make it work. But tell us about your race tonight.
Yeah, I don't race dirty, so he changed his lineup a little bit, which he should have. No, I mean, he did nothing wrong, and I got into him and I let him gather it back up because I'm not gonna wreck anybody to win.
Oh, most definitely, man. Very, very great sportsmanship on your part tonight. And you are an amazing driver, man. You have very, very good stats. Looking at your career wins, I mean, your career stats right now with the Roaring Thunder Racing League Can-Am Series so far. Very, very impressive. And you have come a long way tonight. You qualified on the pole and was able to stay in the top 3 all race long tonight. And tell us about how your machine was handling tonight, man. Did it meet your expectations?
It was really tight out of 2 and 4, and I really had to change a few things, and I just couldn't run the short stunt, so I had to time everything for a long run, and luckily we got green flag to where I could get into a pace, get into a rhythm, hit my marks, and just run everybody down. Just unfortunately, I just couldn't do anything on a short term, and I waited a lap or 2, possibly too late to pit at the end there, and Robert probably had a couple laps on me, fresher tires, and my tires were gone, so I think that had a lot to do with it. But I was right there on the fuel that if I would have stopped any sooner, possibly I might not have been able to make it, so it was just a risk.
Oh, most definitely. But it absolutely was still an amazing race on your part, an amazing performance despite the hardships you went through tonight. And also when it came down to the battles between you and 75 of Robert Barras, your biggest opponent tonight. Do you think about it now, going back and think about everything? Do you think you could have done anything differently to maybe better your chances at getting a spot higher?
Yeah, I mean, anybody else might have bump and run or. But again, I'm all about the long run, so I needed to not abuse my tires in the beginning to be able to do that at the end. So at that last restart, I didn't really push that hard on the bottom. 1, I didn't want to push up into them, and 2, I didn't want to rip the tires in case we did go green, which we did. So it was a good call.
Oh, most definitely. And Jim, after next week, for next race, we'll be shifting gears, going to Dover International Speedway. How do you plan on preparing for that race, getting ready for it?
Well, it's another type of a short track run, and it's all about momentum. And once you get into a rhythm, it clicks off, and you don't even realize how quickly that race can go by. But you just got to hit your mark lap after lap, and it's another track that I truly enjoy.
Oh, copy that. With that said, we look forward to seeing you there at Dover, and hopefully seeing you have your second win right there at Dover International Speedway. And once again, tonight was an amazing race on your part, very well-fought battle, and great job on staying alive and executing green flag pit stops, excellent green flag pit stops, and staying very, very consistent and competitive. Oh, but any final words before we let you go?
It stings a little bit that I couldn't get. This car was a very dear friend of mine that I lost 3 years ago, and this was his car, and I really was trying to put it into victory lane for him. His name was J.D. Reyes, and it sucks I just couldn't quite get it there, but also I'm thinking about Josh Medlock losing his mother-in-law, and my thoughts and prayers go out to him.
Well, congratulations once again, Jim, on your success here tonight at Myrtle Beach Speedway with our Lucas Slick Mist paint scheme that once again is very, very well dressed. And we also thank you once again for taking the time to come up here in the Dre Broadcasting booth and speaking with us. We look forward to seeing you again next race at Dover International, buddy, and go celebrate. You earned it.
Thank you.
And that was second place finisher, the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr. And next in line, the 21 of Charles Smith. Charles tonight did start third place in points. He was actually tied with Jim Whaley in points for third place, and finishes in third place after starting in the second place spot here in tonight's race in Myrtle Beach. Good to come up there, Charles.
Yeah, gotcha.
How you doing tonight?
Tired after that.
I can only imagine, brother. I can only imagine. And tonight, Charles, we noticed in the very beginning of the race that you seemed to be the only driver who was having trouble with the machine pushing very tight on you. But maybe you're not pushing, because we can end up concluding that maybe you're not pushing, you're trying to save tires, which seems to be accurate in the longer green flag runs, because your strategy did seem to be ended up working out, because you ended up catching up to every single driver who got around you during you going to the outside line. But tell us about your experience.
Oh yeah, I always try to take it easy at the beginning of the race. No need to, try too hard. But I'm typically not a short track driver, so I'm really shocked that I got pole and finished third, or not pole, got second and finished third. But it's very tiring.
Absolutely, brother. I can only imagine. And your biggest opponent tonight, who you found in the mid-race, was 76 of Joshua Jones. And looks like you guys finished only a second apart, about 1.1 seconds apart, actually 9/10 of a second, that is, apart from each other. And he was your biggest opponent all race long tonight. How's that experience between the two of you?
Oh yeah, there before that last pit stop, he had me, and I decided on that last pit stop I took 2 tires to get out in front of him, and it paid off.
Oh, copy that. And I believe you might have been the only 2-tire driver. Actually, didn't even focus on the pit times. I should have, but I believe you were the only 2-tire pit stop driver, and it looks like it ended up working out in your favor, because you did end up, when you exited pit road, you were about 7 seconds ahead of him, which did give you a very, very good advantage. And the lap traffic up there did work against you for a little bit. But then towards the very end of the race, you were still able to maintain your 3rd place spot. Very, very impressive. Well, going to next race at Dublin International, what do you expect from yourself?
I expect the same. I should be able to get a podium there. I like Dover, so we'll see.
Oh, 10-4. Hopefully we see you have your first win right there at Dover International. Well, Charles, any final words before we let you go?
Oh, well, first I just want to give a shout out to Josh Medlock, since he lost his mother-in-law, condolences to him, and just thanks to everybody that came out and run.
Well, Charles, congratulations on your success tonight, and we look forward to seeing you again for the next race at Dover International. Have a good night, buddy. Go celebrate.
Thank you.
And that was 21 of Charles Smith running up the podium finishes. So Robert Burris, Jim Whaley Jr., and Charles Smith 1 through 3rd respectively. What a heck of a race. And I want to thank every single one of you for tuning in tonight, joining us right here on the Dre Broadcasting Network. Welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network. And once again, for all those new viewers out there, we just crossed the 400 subscriber mark, and we want to thank every single one of you for making that possible, because without you guys we are nothing. We will not be where we are today if it weren't for you guys, and we can never thank you guys enough. And tonight's race was the Medlock's family Betty Hughes Memorial 200. That is Betty Hughes Memorial 200. Betty Hughes was Josh Medlock's mother-in-law. Josh Medlock being one of the drivers right here on the Roaring Thunder Racing League series. So Josh Medlock's mother-in-law passed away a couple of days ago, and they dedicated this race to her as a way to help with the financial costs, or the costs of the funeral costs. With that said, we do have a link right there in the description for everybody who would like to donate. Any donation is very, very appreciated, and the link is gofundme.com/funeral expenses Betty Hughes. That's gofundme.com/funeral expenses Betty Hughes, without any spaces. That is all one word. And thank you for joining us tonight here. This is Roaring Thunder Racing League KNN series. If you guys would like to be a part of the action, check them out at Roaring Thunder Racing League on iRacing, or AmericanTrucker8.wixsite.com. Wixsite, spelling of that is WIXSITE.com. So AmericanTrucker8.wixsite.com to be a part of this action right here. Well, thank you for tuning in. Oh, Dave, any final words before we close off?
Well, I tell you what an exciting race. I just want to say thank you again to Jeff Dodson and the Roaring Thunder League for allowing Dre Broadcasting to come on board, bring this action live to all the fans, family, friends, everyone out there to watch this exciting short race here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Once again, they'll be off next week, but we will be back the following Saturday with the Roaring Thunder League. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and hopefully we'll have another exciting race when we come back with the Roaring Thunder Racing League.
Absolutely. And next race, like you said, Dover International for the Dover 125. That is Dover International Speedway. Gonna watch out for the exit of turn number 4. And thank you for tuning in once again. This also want to, all the viewers out there, please keep the Medlock family and the Hughes family in your prayers, thoughts and prayers, so they can be able to go through this trying time as a family. We'll get through this. The Dre Broadcasting, the Roaring Thunder Racing League, and you two out there in the chat. And thank you once again for tuning in. Well, the next broadcast will be Wednesday night, Hardline Racing League Fast Track Sims Hardline Track Series at Homestead Miami Speedway for the season finale. I am Sean Zulu and David Everly behind the cameras. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night. Thanks for watching.